about the future as the future of design practice itself, or about future of technology, because creative imaginings of the future offer resistance to the dominant world order, but also reveal the limits of that resistance. So I'm going to talk about our last project. It's called Drone Avery. The project investigates the social, political, and cultural potential of drone technology and its implications as it enters civil space. So today the word drone is a heavily loaded term, simultaneously a mascot of risk transfer militarism, an artifact of celebrity obsession, and a DIY enthusiast streak. Here in America, you have the most open laws. The FAA are creating lots of laws that's going to allow maybe 30,000 drones in the next 2 years, they say, or even more in civil space. So this is something that's going to concern a lot of us increasingly. The reactions have been shoot them down, which may or may not work after a point, because there's only so much you can see to shoot down, and it'd fall on someone else, and then you'd be in trouble. So the question is very polarizing, the debate so far. On one side, it's technological wonder. Other side, there's privacy fears, and it's polarizing opinions around that. But there's really very little contemplation on how the presence of such machines will change our lived experience of the human-built environment and the way we understand and interact with algorithmic intelligence. The thing is that once you start flying them, it's like a disembodied prosthetic. From the point of view, this vantage point that you enter is a position of strategic advantage and a strength, a position that alludes to the magical effect of the pale blue dot, the overview effect, and the change in cognitive ability it brings. But this vantage point can also be an instrument of tremendous power. Every drone will have some kind of sensor on it, and it will collect some kind of data from this vantage point, and then those who have that data will act upon the power afforded by that data. So when the network is invisible and digital, it appears to be magical to us, and we remain unchallenged. But what happens when it starts becoming visible and starts gaining physical form on the sky above our heads? What will our relationships to it be, and how will we interpret its actions? So our project aims to investigate what happens when machine intelligence of this kind finds a body and flies above in the sky. So this is a technology that is, up to a point you can speculate, but we felt like we really needed to start understanding it better, to go beneath the hype. Do they actually fly? How do they fly? And it's terribly difficult to actually build a drone and get it to fly. It defies gravity, truly it does, but we kind of spent a lot of time in our studio building very different kinds of drones, and built like from small to very large, and then created about 10 with different identities. Finally, we made 5 which really worked. I'm just going to talk about them. So there's the first one, which is the Night Watchman. The surveillance drone, it moves through the city, logging, tracking, and collecting data. It is used by local councils and other law enforcement agencies in documenting everything from civil offenses to detecting potential terror threats. The newsbreaker or the media drone, this nimble device's algorithms pass imagery, audio, web, and radio traffic. It pushes the boundaries of what we call high-frequency journalism, as it films and streams in real-time news. As it sees, it's streaming real-time news to people. The Root Hawk is a traffic management assistant, fulfills 2 primary functions. Firstly, with its powerful display and powerful motor, it's able to quickly solve traffic problems and provide dynamic warnings to approaching drivers. Secondly, its LiDAR speed detector and ANPR camera allows it to efficiently log and transmit traffic violations to relevant penalty enforcement departments, often allowing the unit to pay for itself within
Creative ways to use this technology.
And then Madison, flying billboard. It's an advertising drone, a hovering display platform which can swoop, scan, and hunt consumer demographics. It uses sophisticated facial recognition technology to gain feedback on the effectiveness of its content and to smile? Do you laugh? Are you angry? You'll change the ad accordingly. Flycam Instadrone, low cost, user-friendly platform with truly smart street-style functionality. It has quickly superseded the selfie stick as today's must-have live vlogging and social media tool. It allows anyone with a smartphone to share unforgettable moments from the cloud using the Instadrone app. So we built these drones and then we began flying them. When we talk about civic space, the space that we live in, the space that is considered public space, civic space, we rarely talk about that space as the sky above our heads. We always talk about it in a sort of horizontal, rarely in the vertical. And partly it is because of the naive belief that the belt between our heads and the aeroplanes belongs to everybody. It's a civic space, it's a public domain. But of course that's not true. This civic airspace will be populated with the new vertical geographies and digital infrastructures within which these machines will operate. For instance, there's a story from last year, I think last year when the DJI Phantom flew near someone crashed it into the White House, that's right, it did. And that meant remotely the DJI Phantom updated its firmware and created this geofence which did not allow people to fly anywhere in that circular Washington district. So we started imagining not just the object, not just the product, but the ecosystem within which it lives. What's the infrastructure? You will have to create new zones in the city, invisible zones, in which these different kinds of machines will fly. And so we started sketching the frameworks for these new digital infrastructures, the flight zones, the flight paths, as seen by a drone. This map is not a factual diagram, it's our way of starting to give detail to a system that will need to be in place once drones are flying above us. And as I said, it's not accurate, but starting to understand how complex a simple object is actually going to be. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a short film, about 4 or 5 minutes, which reveals fleeting glimpses of the city from the perspective of these 5 different drones. It explores a world where the network gains physical autonomy. The drones become protagonists, moving through the city, making decisions around the world, influencing our lives in often opaque yet profound ways.
No program of mass surveillance, and there is no surveillance state.